It is a very sunny day here on the pirate ship of the imagination. It is Friday, and what a week it has been. As we set sail here into the weekend where we can chill out a bit and have some fun. So, welcome back, Artist Journal, September 8th, 2023, broadcasting from the pirate ship of the imagination in Berlin, Germany. My name is Adrian Pocobelli, and I just had to pause there and consume the image in my mind. When I say that, sailing on the high seas, I literally see the reflections on the water as we were moving forward. And yeah, I'll never forget, actually, when I was in Rhodes a couple of weeks ago, maybe it was 3 weeks ago now, and seeing a big cruise ship and just thinking how, I almost felt like I was in a dream or something. I was looking at a vision, but it was in real life. I'm still trying to work out what it all meant. Anyways, let's get to it. Can you guess the artist? Another lo-fi spectacular here from Coda Nakazono. And I think we just saw one yesterday. This is awesome. And it kind of brings up something that's really interested me personally recently as I kind of play with these different monitor outputs, is these non-square pixels. You see, it's kind of like, we were discussing this with Cap'n maybe 3.5 weeks ago in the Twitter Spaces, 2.5 weeks. And you see these like horizontal pixels, and I think it's like a Atari perhaps monitor output, a few of them. It's like very early monitor kind of output filter, whatever you want to call it. And so it looks gorgeous here. And I love how Coda is, in a sense, refreshing and reinventing this whole series here, continuums. And I think I brought it up here, right? Because we've been seeing these really cool works throughout the last few months. And I love these works too. Wow, they're at 80 Tezos now on secondary. I really love that. There's a series of 3 here. That's a different series. Let me just see. And the pixelation, yeah, Untitled number 6. And this pixelation, I've always just, those are some of my favorites. And there's it's just a really cool, experimentation, trying out, different ideas. But I have to say, are these in order? Yeah, so I have to say, this one here, the most recent, what happened to Continuum 147? I thought we were just looking at this. Let me just try this refreshing here. So maybe it just mysteriously disappeared on me here. All to say, we saw one yesterday that was black and white. Maybe this is all from the Continuum series. Let me just look here. Because there is one that this one here, Continuum number 147, we saw yesterday. So we have a new one, also lo-fi, and again, looking like it's playing with there's different kinds of pixelation, I guess, is the moral of the story here. Not all pixelation is the same, which is kind of a fun thing to realize as we kind of all, enjoy well, most of us, I assume, are enjoying this kind of pixel art discussion here. It's kind of worth noting, not all pixels are the same, are the same size, the same ratio. Not all pixelation is the same. That's what I've been trying to say here. Okay, so let's just look at the market here. Edition of 5, 34 Tezos, so it looks like this sold out. Let's see how fast. Yeah, look at this. And I'm not surprised. See this? It all basically sold out in 60 seconds for 15 Tezos each, which is not a small number. And I think, again, there is kind of just this natural bias, shall we say, or predilection, a preference for lack of a better term, pixel art and pixelation. For whatever, if it's done really well and interestingly, it's just really cool. And there's, there's so much, it's just a beautiful abstract here. And really what it looks like to me is Coda put this into basically a new kind of processing, a new process, took some old work, perhaps, one of these, organic biomorphic forms, as I like to call them, and then just put some sort of pixelation filter on it, or whatever happened there. I don't know. Continuum number 148 looks awesome. Really cool work to get us started here. So Coda Nakazono does it again. Just a couple of secondary sales I wanted to thank here. This AI artwork here. Thank you, Ali, for picking this up for 21 on secondary. I have one more. Actually, I have about 15 more of these different kind of AI artworks. But there's one more that I have been working on that I want to release soon on Tezos. I need a new Tezos release here anyway. And 303 Sketch also sold on secondary, I think for 5 Tezos. So thank you to, I believe it's Magician or Magician. So thank you for that. And speaking of techno, Wasteman Goldminovich put together a tribute to the show here using Medium, and it's actually pretty well done. You know, so pretty hilarious. And of course, what I was calling my embarrassing quote is highlighted here, sampled in my video. So I'm going to do whatever I want in my video. So I was actually kind of, I was kind of mortified after that show, but I was like, I'm not re-recording the show to get rid of that, or just because of that. Who cares? I mean, I guess people didn't mind it and they think it's funny, so that's cool. And Kiro put out a good one. And I just so you know, I wasn't. Kiro was like, "Oh, sorry for embarrassing you." I wasn't embarrassed by Kiro's awesome memery. It was actually just me myself. But you guys go crazy. One thing, and maybe this is the lesson of this. If there is a lesson to be learned, everybody's having fun. So I don't know if we need a lesson, but one thing to know: if you're going to put yourself in the public sphere, as we all do as artists, or if I'm going to put videos, you just got to embrace. If people are just paying attention to you, you just got to be happy about that. And they're putting time and making awesome stuff like this. So big shout out and thank you in my video to Wasteman Goldminovich for a pretty cool track in my video. So we can play that at the Tezos party. I might run out of the room, but anyway, thank you. That is an open edition, 0.33, 23 cents. So there are 12 that have been minted. So thank you to everybody involved there, and thank you for sending me one or two. Comments from yesterday, I managed to get them even bigger now. So now they're much more readable. So we continue to iterate and improve where we can here. Noisy Coyote. We were discussing Tetris and that weird phenomenon that if you play Tetris for 3 or 4 hours when you're a kid, and then when you're going to sleep, you have like this, you start seeing the perfect Tetris game. According to Noisy Coyote, this is the Tetris effect. The newest version of Tetris shares the name and is wicked fun. I think there have actually been studies about it. I think you might be right. So that is interesting. So thanks for the comment there. Eloy Chaperone, who did the awesome Lego drawing yesterday. I admire what you're doing. Thank you. I'm grateful that you've created a reflection of the uniquely beautiful art environment here. It's a unique pleasure to be one of the people you highlight in this place where art is promoted and receives the necessary attention. Let's keep doing what we do. Lego Eloy. Well, I'm a big Lego fan, Eloy. And shout out. Thank you. Very nice comment here. And Santiago Isacodal. Helio's work is wonderful. He is a trained painter and a university teacher. I'm trying to remember who Helio was. He started working with AI, I'm sure it was in yesterday's show. He started working with AI way before its mass adoption, so he also makes his own models. He also built his own CNC plotter, though he now has a smaller AxiDraw. I'm going to have to look up, maybe I can get a small plotter. He specializes on landscape paintings and has developed a wonderful language around them, along with plotting with oil paints. Very cool. I thought you already knew his work, so still learning here as things go, but thank you for the comment and very interesting. Tornado Rodriguez, hey Poco, thanks for showing Martin Joe's tribute to my 420 universe. It means a lot. My pleasure. And that was awesome. It was great work. Another awesome, super original tribute by Martin Joe. And Bulls, the 91 Woods, and actually Bulls said afterwards, I don't know why this all turned out crossed out. So that was an accident, just so you know, as you're reading this. Regarding NFTs being the engine of the next Giga Bull trend, so remember Pablo Picasso was saying, that could be the next big thing. I don't think it's actually a crazy idea, which is why I was highlighting it. Like, it's kind of a tantalizing idea as we, as you kind of look at like what's valuable, as you kind of always take a step back as time passes, what's valuable. And this art, there's something to be said for that thought, a thought that I find very interesting. And that, to me, has multiple dimensions, is that artists are the only group of people manufacturing something that then is commercialized through the blockchain. Nothing else in crypto is like that. I agree. And it's even like, we saw some music, but even music has struggled somewhat to, get really lift off because people are used to getting music for free and you're not used to collecting music. You're used to collecting vinyls, maybe. There is that. But but art and it being the only way to collect art, there's something to be said, or digital art, I should say. Yeah, nothing else. I agree. And I think in this bear market that we've been in the last, I don't know, year and a half now, to me, this is art is the stuff that keeps that has never really been in, I would argue, has never really been in a bear market, at least in terms of the production. And I mean, maybe the prices have come down a little bit in some, but Ethereum has come down a little bit. So in that respect, Tezos has come down. But the excitement of people who are in the scene, I'm sure there's a lot of people who have left, but I don't actually, to me, I agree. No one else is producing something and selling their production through blockchain. It's hard to disagree. Like, I can't think of something else. I know they try and put houses and all this sort of stuff, but it's still kind of experimental here. NFT is becoming art is becoming quite proven. In my opinion, the NFT art ecosystem is the best place to try and understand how a peer-to-peer economy with blockchain fundamentals could work, especially in how humans interact with each other. Great show as always. Thank you. Thank you very much, Bulls. And great comment. And I find the same thing. Like, it's very interesting. Plus, K. Grazia's lots of interesting artists. We need to buy more Tezos to catch them all. Well, Tezos is very cheap. So you'll never get maybe it probably will keep going down. Who knows? But you're starting to get some incredible deals here. McRenders, much love. Appreciate the feature. Luckily, there was no burning on my most recent piece, but a few others ended up in the burn wallet. So I guess that did happen to McRenders because there was a bit of some mud being thrown back and forth. So along with a slew of lowball spam offers on pretty much everything. But such is the way of the world, and this is the right attitude, McRenders. Just let it roll off you. If this is the right attitude. Just nothing phases you. Just let it roll right off you. That is a true positive attitude. And Santiago Isacodal Hash Cookie, the work by Haiti Rocket, is from the game Yoshi's Cookie, which is Tetris-like puzzle game. Interesting. And then finding you're reviewing my sister's work before mine is a very nice surprise. Nice episode. Thank you. And Edmarola Suzanne is the musician character. Got it. And Bombattle, thank you for the comment. Awesome. Cider, great to hear from you. And Stippin Pixel, weed at 4040, indeed. So thanks for all the comments. Also, one more comment here I want to highlight. It's really interesting, actually, before we go to Aw Heck. Someone mentioned, why aren't you posting these to Twitter, these videos? So I started. And it's pretty interesting because I thought the YouTube views might go down, but I thought it makes sense and we'll just post to both. But the YouTube views are kind of like staying steady. And so it's interesting to just see, like, this could start getting a lot more reach. And so thank you for the support. I mean, this is amazing. And I want to highlight this, and it's kind of exciting, actually. Aw heck, editions are great, but one of ones are legendary. And I really was glad that Aw heck wrote this, because sometimes we forget as artists that one of ones really do, and we kind of talked about this a little bit, but it's worth remembering and reminding yourself as an artist, because, we see something like Zora and it's like, oh, let's just put out open editions. But it's very important as an artist to remember to put out those one of ones. They're very exciting from a collectability point of view. If people are interested in buying your work, you put out a one of one. It's very exciting. They will give it a very close look. So great comment there from Aw Heck Joshua Sobel. Regular Jake, today's the day. So this was just interesting. Taya.cafe. Ryan Tanaka, my unofficial Web3 guide, friend and inspiration for looking at Tezos for NFT collections, has launched his dApp, Taya.cafe. There's no ordinary app, so this is no ordinary app, so give it a try. All on chain, built by an artist for artists. As we like to say here, what is it? By artists, for artists, by artists, indeed. So Taya Cafe, and there's even here's an example of. So I guess you can put playlists together here, and Regular Jake put a little sampler here. And here is the actual page. Taya Cafe is an NFT curation, discovery, and showcasing dApp that allows you to collect, organize, and share your favorite digital assets as playlists. So very interesting here. And so check that out, Taya.cafe. I think there's a new image here, and I'm just loving how this is looking. You got to see this, because this looks like a new image here of Kareem Safa's work that we're looking at. And you see, these pixel art factories, and they did a great job of really kind of just fitting it to the building here. So more just really interesting. I guess this is drone footage. So pretty interesting and cool here on this really cool building here. So just had to highlight that. And Julian Gashadot, and I think I saw them post an image yesterday on working on a train and doing their work on a laptop. Yesterday's show was so big that I didn't end up showing that work, but I was going to. And this looks like the work that came out, an album cover. First plotted record sleeve of Sato, aka Satoshi Tomi, BO1V on Chapel 14 electronic music label. So plotting on a album cover. So that is really cool, and it looks great. So El Greco, Greco Rando, Prince of 10 limited editions. So we were looking at this work a few shows ago. Shipping worldwide. This edition goes into the hands of Burnsy Witch. Thank you so much, friend. 5 of 10 left. So you can see it here. And remember, Greco had this great solution of putting different stuff in the what could be thought of as a word bubble. Look at how this is important for those that have never done this. A certificate of authenticity is a really professional way, if you're selling prints, to put something like this, to sign it. This is the 5th of 11. Very nice work here from Greco. So just very cool. And it's nice to see the follow through, like doing a very nice job. You see how long it's taking as well? I mean, Greco's been working on this maybe a week, right? Like this stuff takes time to put a certificate of authenticity together. That all takes time, research, but it looks like he's really doing it properly. This was interesting. This looks, and I'm not positive, but this looks like an app, doesn't it? This looks like an iPad app, but I'm not positive. I'm assuming it is, but maybe it's not. But that would be a pretty cool app, right? There's a, just for getting randomness. And it might not be an app. Like, I'm just not sure. Is there any writing here? No, just kind of like a mysterious detective figure. So that is interesting. There's an app that I've always wanted to make for randomness too, which is you take a phone and then you put like a circle on the app and then you just go like this and the circle will go around and it kind of like would create like a randomness thing. If anybody knows how to make that, maybe it's not that hard anymore with ChatGPT, but I always kind of wanted that as an app rather than having to draw all those things. You can kind of use more randomness. This reminds me of that. If that's in fact what this is, and if it's not an app, maybe it should be. So interesting. So this was really cool. John Carroll, of course, we know him from the skeleton who's often riding the exercise bike. Open window, daytime and nighttime. And we saw this with RJ maybe, I don't know, a month ago, 6 weeks ago, where he was experimenting with putting stuff on different chains, maybe 2 months ago. So open editions on ETH and Tezos. Minting starts today, Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time, and they're available for 24 hours. So 2 works here. One is daytime, one is nighttime, and there are slightly different things. Like you'll see the birds here, but the apple looks pretty much the same. And there are slight differences. You see there's a little like butterfly here, but there's kind of reminds you, I'm trying to remember, like it reminds me of these Italian in comics, like from Italian newsstands. There would be like these magazines where it'd be like try and find the difference. It kind of reminds me of those. Gotta love the synth, by the way. I think someone sent me a message. This reminded me of you. Do you know why? I was like, I think it might be the synth. Anyway, cool work here. So here it is on Foundations. This is the Ethereum version. Again, unfortunately, we can't maximize this, but we just saw it basically there. I don't know how to maximize this on Foundation for when they do additions. But here is the other one on Object, where we do not have a problem. And this is 36 Tezos each. And let's see if they started minting here. I don't think so. So maybe in 5 hours, it's scheduled. So in 5 hours, you're going to be able to start minting that. So cool concept here, and it looks really cool. It's a nice still life, isn't it? Continuing on, back to Foundation here. So remember we were looking at this dread.exe project by Uxine, kind of wondering what it was. Are these almost like profile picture, PFP type of the computer monitor guy? And we had the interesting Dutch auction with a final price of 0.89. So I'm not super clear on, but it looks like they all went for 0.89 for 9 of them. It's like they all went for the same price, which is kind of interesting. And they're pretty hilarious, each one of them. Each one has its charm, as you see here, the scroller and the diskette going in this one. So it's a pretty cool series here. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I guess it's Uxine's take on the profile picture project. And this guy is probably the one that looks like the grail there that you want. And so, yeah, you see another kind of take on it here in Uxine's Twitter feed. So looking pretty cool here with this guy in the middle. And just an interesting project here. And here's up close on one of them. And you see all the classic stuff, like the homunculi here, the kind of the metaphysical concept, the broken screen. Here, just like the not happy but not unhappy computer guy. All the tropes here. And even interesting how he kind of moves the paint a little bit in the background here just to give it some life in this kind of background painting area, which is an interesting touch. And then you have all these kind of icons on the side. So interesting project from Uxine, bringing in 8 ETH. So nice haul there and keeping it interesting. Not easy to do. Keeping it very interesting. And then this great glitch here. This looks like, again, the grail of the collection, I would assume, and just more awesomeness here. And just creativity everywhere. Again, I always use this word with Uxine, dexterity. So just cool work. Jan Lucas Magone. So we saw the incredible ad yesterday. It has been released, this work. Last One Kiss in Flames, Parts of Me collection. So this is an edition of 25. And Empress Trash with 69 Tezos. So already the offers are coming in. And so pretty nice offers coming in. And here you see the skeleton figure beautifully painted. This digital painting here. And kind of like this, fiery figures here. Kind of looking somewhat classical in the poses here, but very digital in color. And the skeleton almost looking at itself, the kiss, or someone else, the kiss. So pretty powerful work, I have to say, actually. Quite a powerful work. Last One Kiss in Flames, a golden heart inside flames. Just kind of a powerful emotional work here. Paper Buddha, Kappa, beware of the Kappa. So interesting. This is, and we met Paper Buddha on Retro, I met Paper Buddha on Retro Manny's pixel art space, or his comic book cover space, I should say. Very cool artist here. and really uses collage in a way that you could only do digitally. And you see that with some of the drop shadows here. Does a lot of scanning of like pulps and other things. So just a cool artist here, Paper Buddha, with a very cool collage work here called Kappa. Available for 20 Tezos, and there are 16 left on primary. Look at this beautiful work here by RJ. And I think he called it actually Spectral Pastiche, one of our, which I believe this is a term actually I think we're using to describe some of RJ's earlier work, which is when RJ would put in a get AI to create a variation on a work, let's say by Edward Hopper or David Hockney, and then get an alternative work, and then use that as a kind of launch pad or as an inspiration for a piece. So we're calling that spectral pastiche, and I think that's what. So I think that's what he means by that. So I think AI is probably involved here, as well as artists that RJ likes. So just very cool concept here and beautifully done. I love the color, and it's got an interesting title here, A Silent Sea, right? And so it's tempting to think of this as the sea, but it's the same color as this. And would you have shadow on the sea like this? So kind of a ambiguous work here. Because again, this is tempting to see as sea, and I love the light and the color, a very subtle work, and it's pretty reasonably priced here at 0.15, a 1 of 1. So if you agree with Pablo Puncasso that this could be the next big trend, big, and a giga trend in the market, in the crypto market, well, there's an opportunity. And this was also released by RJ a few days ago, playing with kind of chunkier pixels, which is interesting, as you can see here. This was released on Teia, or Object. Collect for 15 Tezos. There's still 7 left. And an interesting work here, playing with the computers, but much thicker pixels, and kind of nicely rough in here. You see that? And even, we pointed this out on another RJ, I think, how not worrying about getting everything perfect, leaving a little bit of the errors behind, not making it too perfect. It gives it more of a painterly feel, right? Even here, kind of leaving some errors. You see it here. The interesting carpet with the big chunky pixels. So very interesting experimentation here from RJ. Very cool work. Santiago experimenting, undetermined shot of a meeting, P5JS and ChatGPT. So this is pretty interesting. I thought the color was great, and another basically original abstract here. They almost look like pills or something, but really maybe they're just brush marks. And there's almost kind of a Yuri J kind of palette going on here. So interesting work here from Santiago, 9 left on primary. And here's another digital painting, Yagi's Yilmaz. Yagi Zilmaz, Night in the Woods. And let's just take a closer look. A 1 of 1, available for 25 Tezos. And it's a pretty nice piece. Kind of reminds me of that Magritte, where you see the horse, the person on the horse. Maybe that's called the equestrian. We can look at that in a second. Cool forest work, though, with a snake kind of going through it, and then almost kind of this, cloudy, spiritual, ether-like substance inside of it. So kind of a bit of a mystical work, and you almost see like what looks like lights at first, but then you go, maybe they're bugs, ants. They're kind of circling, almost like vines here. Night in the Woods, very interesting work. Again, a 1 of 1 for $17. Let's look at Magritte. I think it's called the Equestrian. No, the Equestrian's a different one. Oh, or not. Yeah, here it is. This is the work I was thinking of, the equine art. So I'm not sure what the title is for this. Let's just open image. Yeah, I think, you know what I was thinking? Maybe this is the Equestrian, this one right here. So a cool work here by Magritte, pretty famous work. Kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Let me just do the comparison here. Oh, we lost, here it is. And very quickly, yeah, kind of a interestingly similar work, probably accidental, but not necessarily. Continuing on, another kind of moving work here. Bitter Tears, Salt of Despair by Katerina Create. This is a 1 of 1. Sold for only 10 Tezos. It took 2.5 hours, but you got a 1 of 1 from Katerina Create. Always stays the same, nothing ever changes. Bitter Tears. A moving work here from Katerina Create, a 1 of 1. Beautifully done here. You know, putting her soul, heart and soul on the page here in a really beautiful way. Someone got a deal on this one. Bitter Tears. Cool. I love the daydream upside down there. And another illustration, Bedroom Party by Guillaume Cornet. This is an edition of 100 for 3 Tezos. And actually, let me get the description. Inspired by my daughter's toys, which appear to relocate themselves around her room every day. And so just a cool kind of portrait of Guillaume's daughter's bedroom. So very cute here. Looks like a pretty young kid with the crib here and everything. So just a cool, again, kind of a moving artwork, isn't it? And here you see almost like the fireman's pole here going up through the ceiling. So maybe some interpretation there. Edition of 100. There are only 42 left. Timothy Julien with a new work, Limoncello. So interesting, referring to the, I guess you'd call it a digestif after an Italian meal. Oftentimes you call that the limoncello at the Italian restaurant there. I assume that's the reference. Cool. Another kind of architectural work, playing with what's becoming a trademark pattern here with this kind of wide filled, fill, for lack of better terms, and almost like an outdoor theater here, but not quite. A couple of palm trees. Again, it's got a slight Liechtenstein feel. It almost has a Hockney feel too, but it's its own thing. And this beautiful gradient across here. It's almost like surreal architecture to a certain degree. The pink sky continues to be very interesting. And one left on secondary. Sold out, probably just sell. Let's see if he raising the prices from 50 Tezos cents to 70 as Timothy continues to sell out. And here's Human Boy with a cool work made in GIMP, 1,000 by 1,000. And as you can see here, kind of an animated abstract work here. And so it looks like a loop, and again, using GIMP, an interesting color in the background here underneath, and as well as the big green background here. So cool work here, and we have another one by Human Boy here. So 4 left on primary at 5 Tezos. And I thought this was great too. I couldn't find it on his page. Human Boy, advertise your account with 1 animation. So another just interesting animation here with that really cool kind of what looks like almost a CMYK background here. Interesting kind of patterning in the background. And then here you see what looks like a piece of paper kind of waving with some interesting texture there too. I couldn't find that on the page though. If Human Boy is watching, I could not find this work anywhere, but it's cool work. You should mint that if you haven't. Continuing on, Zorb by Padu.eth. So a pretty cool work here, animated pixel art, animated abstract pixel art on Zora by Padu. By Padu. And I think, again, we can't maximize on Zora, but I did find the Twitter, and here we can maximize it. So a pretty cool work. I think there's like 160 minted. People love this, animated abstract, big pixels, just a cool work here. Original as well, I might add. So cool work there. Now this was interesting, kind of reminds you of Ed Marola a little bit in the figure here. This is mech.txt, almost playing a little bit with some Marola, like with the head, and almost like the purple and the blue. It's tempting to see like Ed Marola figure here. Interestingly, pretty cool piece too. You gotta love like this almost like Renaissance type designs on the side with the hourglass. Almost looks like a beautiful manuscript, but then combining some almost planets here into the mix. Interesting piece. Good morning from mech.txt. Here's Green Ginger with more pixel art and sound. Capturing the commute. Almost sounds like Japanese kind of music. Pretty cool. Capturing the commute. I love it. A portrait of everyday life done in pixel art fashion. Very cool. Very, very cool. This is available for 10 Tezos on secondary. Let's just see what it sold for on primary. Only 5 Tezos. Popple picked one up there, and Dr. Lee and more. So just another cool work here from Green Ginger, as usual. Françoise Gamma with a really interesting work. This is from, I'm not sure if this 2009 is all just older works or not, but I thought this was another just interesting experiment here, playing with the drawing of a line of a face here by Françoise Gamma. And so just cool work, available for 3 Tezos, 15 left on primary. Visage de Sad Guy, who I haven't seen from for a while, with a cool open edition tanning room. And here, a couple of sorts here, and just some cool glitched out pixels. So just interesting, looking like it's using several exports. Like it almost looks like a glitched out video art or analog video export, shall we say. But then it looks like it's almost like we saw with Coda Nakazono at the start of the show, but then almost put through like a pixel process of sorts, a pixel export afterwards. Nice piece, interesting color, 690, 6 Tezos 90 on primary, and has only one sold. There's only one minted, so it could be a very low edition, potentially. Renki with a new one, and we haven't looked at Renki for a few days here, so another cool kind of pixel art animated abstract. So you could see you could almost make a whole, there's almost a whole genre, I would say, of like pixelated animated abstract work. You have animated abstract, but you also have like pixelated animated abstract. And it's cool how actually this background is breathing here. It's kind of moving, it's moving in a very interesting way. So Fukugawa, this is Fukugawa by Renki, and none available, none listed yet. Another interesting animated abstract, this time more vector. I think it's Dave, who is at Bees and Bombs, and just a nice abstract, animated abstract work. And here you see orange and blue, blue and yellow. Kind of has a 70s palette, shall we say. Silva Santus with a cool work, Through the Glitch Space. Reminds me of this work by Mason III, one of my favorite Mason III works. I think used maybe the same video game. Really nice glitch ROM as usual, this time from Silva Santus, going through a galaxy here. And this is 3 Tezos, edition of 30. There's only one left for 3 Tezos on primary. Several have sold for 50 cents. There's Sabato on the scene, and I think we have another. Here is Sabato. Look at these. Don't these look fabulous on the page? Sabato's eye for color is really impressive. 2 drawings made with glitched Mario paint. I think someone was saying, yeah, they go really well together. They sure do. They sure do. This could almost be like a diptych, because on their own they look pretty nice and attractive, you could say. All these great colors. But I have to agree, when you see them together, they're gorgeous. So anyways, using glitched out Mario paint. This is fantastic, and you gotta love the concept. It's so simple, but so brilliant at the same time. Just really beautiful work here. I haven't seen it minted anywhere. I assume it will be at some point. Ugo, so we saw the car yesterday, and now we see a flower here with this beautiful glitch process. Purple, there's always a season for flowers. So nice work here from Ugo again, just really interesting process. Edition of 3 for, and this sold at 5 Tezos each. There's Shinshin Art, big shout out, and Legojo, big shout out to you, and 5 Tezos each, and now available for 30 on secondary. Cool title, Purple. And remember, that was the car we saw yesterday. Artist, collector, and jeweler. On Tezos since May 2021, life is made for experimenting. So this series appears to be new, and yeah, it looks like it has legs, as they say in the news business. Continuing on, Mika Oladev with a collaboration with Chris WVR, or Chris War, and I thought this looked great. And so this is on Twitter. I haven't seen it minted anywhere. Sometimes it's probably going to be a little crisper obviously when they mint it, but I thought a pretty cool work here. Love the color and just an interesting take on like an interesting glitch. Love the background of the figure. Really nicely kind of blocked out. Troika. Interesting title. I feel like I should know what that means. It sounds like Soviet politics here. Lorna Mills, 15 Tezos, Troika. And of course, we remember these things from outside of when you're driving down the highway, really. And those big stores that you often see will often have these outside to get your attention. So kind of classic Lorna Mills imagery, I'd say. Edition of 32, available for 15 Tezos, and 23 left on primary. Interesting abstract here with music by Martin Joe. More techno. So a short loop, kind of fun. I like the music too. So cool work here. I almost hit stop on the video. Thank God I didn't do that. The Pursuit of Abstraction number 10, one of one for 25 Tezos or $17.42. Dr. Version with a new one, Metabolic Resin, cool title. And here we have another analog video glitch experiment here. And so here playing with almost complementary colors here. The orange and the blue. I need to bring up, I'm starting to forget what the complementary colors are. I think it's orange and blue, red and green, yellow and violet, right? So I think we're doing well there. Metabolic resin. And what we mean by complementary colors, as most of you know, on the color wheel, it's on the opposite side. Let's bring that up quickly here. So edition of 7 for 5 Tezos, 3 left from Dr. Version. Let me see if we just have a good example here. The complementary color pairs are red, green, yellow, purple, and blue and orange. And so, as you'll see here, red and green are on opposite sides of the color wheel. Purple and yellow, or violet and yellow, are on opposite sides of the color wheel. Blue and orange here are on opposite sides of the color wheel. So you see that, and this is actually blue and orange here. It's not a great version of orange. Here you go. This is slightly better. Blue, orange. So these are complementary colors. And when you mix these together with acrylic paint, for example, or oil paint, you'll actually get a gray. So a little color theory, which probably most of you already know, but in case you're wondering, for those that are wondering what we mean by complementary colors, that is what is meant. So continuing on, Somfei, You Make Me Blush. And another thing about complementary colors is they have particular power. They're hard to use in equal amounts on the canvas, let's say, because they clash. If you put blue and orange right together, they clash. But if you put just a little bit of orange and a lot of blue, then you get a really beautiful sharp contrast. Sometimes you can also go just one over on the color wheel, and that also works really nicely. So a cool video glitch art piece here, analog video glitch art piece by Somfei, You Make Me Blush. Cool work here. It's a minute long. So interestingly long loop here. And another glitch work, this is Eli Pritz video glitch work, Pure Morning, open edition, now minting on Foundation. I actually brought that up here. And this is a GIF, interestingly. Not a video, but just one big GIF. And here it is. So someone dancing, basically. Kind of looks like a party scene or something. So it's the techno dancing episode here. And pretty long loop here, too, as you can see. So nice video glitch here. Pure Morning. Really does feel like a club scene or something. And minted. So this is open edition. And one has been minted by Olgami Fedorova. And this is Eli Pritz. Continuing on, almost done here. Bolin 132, White Moth. So these are collages. Digital collage, I believe. And I thought this one was kind of interesting. Kind of had a Dutch oil painting kind of feel. And the still life here looks like that was maybe used as some of the source of these things, but not sure. And just kind of an interesting, mysterious collage here. Really, very prolific. Bullen 132 usually puts out one of ones. Interesting title too, by the way. Look, this is already puts out just one of ones regularly for very reasonable prices, by the way. So interesting artists there. Sky Goodman with a pretty nice AI work here. A New Hope Finland series. And really cool sneaker AI work. Let's just see what it sold for first. Really reasonably priced at 30 Tezos. Nice piece. Very nice piece. And here's one of the sneakers out in the wilderness here. And this, I'm not sure what it is. Almost looks like a cloth or something, but great color. So you can read, the miniseries uses AI to blend the Lost Sneaker series with my photographs from Finland. So interesting combination so this is from the Finland series. Interesting combination of AI and photography. We were seeing a combination of photography. Cider uses photography. We were learning in the space, which was super interesting. Here's a nice kind of physical work I saw. This is on Foundation. I believe this is a physical painting. Bliss Army Knife. So interesting. Kind of has, what is the name of that artist? The name escapes me, but there's a famous artist who kind of has a bit of this feel to it. Slightly kind of almost cubist looking. Anyway, cool work here. Nice mark making, nice textures, nice colors from Bliss Army Knife. And that, my friends, is your show. Thank you for the awesome week. And thank you for joining me. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Until next time, take care.